Infinite intelligence, thank you. Thank you for being able to come online. Thank you for having electricity throughout the night and being able to walk. Okay, first of all, God's calling. I was triggered to come and speak about this because of a lady I encountered. She was someone that was doing POS. That's where you money exchange for. Literally, we buy money when we go and withdraw money. Right. I don't need to even show you my card to explain it. Right? But that's what we do. We buy money here, right? So I went to withdraw and there was a music going on and I could feel the energy. It was praising God and I was dancing to it. And she was like, why am I dancing? Can I understand the language? I said, I feel the energy. I was born like that. It's not something I'm trying to listen, make an effort to do. And she said that why did I not go to pastor school? That I am running away from God's calling. And I'm like, I don't want to be a pastor. That's the truth. The reason why I felt like I must address this is because within me, I don't think being a pastor is God's calling. I don't know how to explain it because it feels like placing something above love. It doesn't make sense. I keep asking myself, why should anyone place themselves above love? Because that is what I see happen when it comes to being pastors. I see them right over overtaken by the power of that attention, and it sickens me to even want to be associated with it because I hate to be placed on an hierarchy. It's disgusting to me. I hate that people are clapping for me. It doesn't make sense. What is within me? What I want to see is people screaming love is the most powerful force in all of existence. That is the only thing that is my desire. If everybody is screaming love is the most powerful force in all of existence, right now, let me tell you what that would look like. There wouldn't be any wars or killings. There wouldn't be anything like violence. There wouldn't be anything like death on the ground. Why? Because everybody is conscious of the fact that what you're existing in is alive and it's breathing, it's pulsating every single time. It is what should be kept clean, not because it's looking like what they envision it to be. Every aspect of God will be taken important. That is even more valuable than anything else. So, being a pastor is not an achievement or anything. It doesn't say you are working for God because if your interaction any time, any day does not speak love, there's no point being a pastor. So I don't see it as I should go to pastor school just because I can feel God or I can hear God. I don't see it that way. It doesn't make sense to me. I have no aspiration of being a pastor. I'm not saying that if source gives me a message, I'm not going to express it because I love to be used to express directly source. See, I'm not trying to be in contact with one angel one seraphim, one anything at all. He not send me message. What I am interested in solely, only, is what I exist within. That has no form. It has no character assigned to it. It is love, formless love. That is what chose to create me as a companion to itself. And honestly, that is the only thing I want to be connected to. That is the only thing I want you listening to me to have connection with. Not one angel. The angels can be there to assist, but it is not who directs you. An angel can assist you, but it is not the source of your direction. It is just a medium. See, angels are medium like me, as I am a medium. There is no special hierarchy. You won't believe it. Because we are all equally loved. Why? God used itself to birth this. You are seeing. This is not me being arrogant because I don't even have that ego. I'm not interested to be placed and pedestaled. It's repulsive to me. It's something that I find disgusting. That I don't even want to be associated, right, with such. And I guess that's a result of growing up in a religious background, as it entails. So no, I have no desires whatsoever within my being to be a pastor. It is not my calling. Yes, I'm called to speak. I know the words are supposed to flow through, but I don't see it as being a pastor. And I'm not running away from God's calling. For the longest of time, I wasn't even seen, let alone heard. Now it looks like I'm running away from God's calling. And it's not because I've been running away from God's calling that it's not like that. I'm not someone that runs from what I exist within. I love what I exist within with all of my existence, with all my life force, because I can't exist without it. It is my life force. It is why I exist. In short, it is it itself, what I exist within, that chose to come into expression through form that looks like me. So today, this morning, a woman that her husband had cursed me and insulted me, said all the negative things on me. Why? Because I said he shouldn't touch me. Because I don't like physical touch. I don't like anybody touching me. Right? That is something that is natural for me. I don't appreciate I don't appreciate physical touch. Sorry, hold on. I want to screenshot this stuff. I take it very significant when I see synchronicities and I act as I'm led always. I don't play with it just because I am spirit conscious. I try to use everything that I encounter that is spirit, literally. And so, sorry about that. I don't see myself as someone that is running away from God's calling. because I'm only interested in the expansion of love, and everything I do is tailored towards love expanding and expanding much further. Every interaction, I believe to always be genuine. That this morning I was in tears, right? Because love I exist within is something I never want to feel this distance away from. It is not possible for God to miss me because I cannot exist without God. There is no separation between God and humans. That is the crazy part. You might not be aware of this, but this breath happening to you is God. It is love. It flows through all. It's energy of purity. If it was not pure, if it is not holy, you cannot breathe. So no matter how demonic that person might look, if God was not breathing through them, it is not possible for them to exist. That is why we have this saying that suffer the wicked not to perish, because it is still God itself that is seeking to love. It's trying to understand why it would rather prefer to be genuinely positive energy. That is all negativity is. It has no other objection than that. So it might look like this person is the worst thing that can exist. But the person that you feel is the worst thing that can exist cannot exist without God. Now, because God is love, right? Everything is equally love. But because everything is equally love, does not mean that everything has equal strength. Why? Not because they don't have equal ability to do that which is, but because everyone is human being, right? A baby is also a human. A baby is also the most powerful force in all of existence. Yes, that baby. And without even physically using physical human efforts, that baby energy can overpower someone that assumes to be big and giant and gorilla looking. That is why I'll tell you the power you see is here, not here. And here is the interaction with spirit. The mind interacts with spirit purely. It is the only thing that interacts with the unseen so accurately. Now, because a baby is small in size and has energetic, mighty components, right? Makes that child much more stronger than a fully grown physical adult, right? That looks so strong physically, like this, even bigger than this, and yet did not grow the energy of love, because source itself is only out to prove that love is the most powerful force in all of existence, and love is not violence, it's not physical strength. Physical strength is an expression of love. Passion, right, is expressing that energy of love. I work out with passion, I work out with love. I don't work out to feel good. I just work out with that ADHD fire. That ADHD fire is passion. That's why it can be hyper focused, because it loves what feels good to it. That it's so passionately focused on whatever feels good to it. Every time, every single time I drink water, before I swallow the water, I acknowledge the fact that water is a messenger. It holds information. So when I drink water, I intentionally send information to every ounce of my being, and I speak into the water, and it is received with open hands, because every ounce of this being is excited equally to see God unfold. I'm equally excited to know how that will play out. I am thrilled. It is my excitement. You see, the calling of God is not a fixed pattern. The calling of God doesn't say, if God is calling you today, you must be a pastor. Everything is God. So, the calling of God is not something that is for a few. It is not for a selected few. Sorry. Thank you, Infinite Intelligence. I need to take note of this. So, yes, I only act as led, and that is following a calling, because they are all tools. They're either a positive tool or a negative tool. And literally, that's all I see these days. And how can you identify it? By their works. You don't see someone angry, someone depressed, and you can say that they are expressing love. It's not that they are wrong or they are bad, but the fact is that at that point in time, they're not expressing love, they're expressing a lack of love. See, no matter how high you are in spirit, if you are not expressing love at a present moment, you are expressing a lack of love. Love is a present state of being. You are either expressing love or you are expressing a lack of love. You can't do both at the same time. You can't be happy and sad at the same time. That is why they say you can't be hot and cold at the same time. Because you are either moving in a upward spiral motion or a downward spiral motion. And the way I see it, I don't know how to not see spirit. I was born like that. It's not something I'm making an effort to. And it's not something I'm running away from. It is something I would admit that, yes, growing up, I pushed it away because tell me why I should be the only one thinking the way I'm thinking, right? Or seeing the way I see things, or experiencing the things the way I experience it, right? But that was how I felt growing up. But now I'm grateful to see the difference, the uniqueness in it, because I had to read to understand it. I didn't just start hearing from God and embraced it. Coming from a religious background, right? Hearing from God while seeing pastors recycle message, even stress themselves to formulate messages. I used to wonder, why was it something that they are doing? It felt like a class teacher going to teach his congregation. Honestly, that's all I could see. Like preparing to teach from what you are taught, from what you learned without receiving from directly. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't prepare for a message. When I say no script on all my videos, I didn't plan what I'm going to say. It just happens. And I'm so loving the fact that I don't need to read one book, then come and tell you people something. Nothing like that is disturbing me. There's no book. See, if there was an effort to make for this message to flow through me, I honestly would have discarded it. I honestly believe that I am so not interested. I have the least interest in I have the least interest in making an effort for this God that exists within. In the sense that I'm not trying to help God be God. Like I'm not trying to help God play the part of God. I don't know how it can be explained. Most of the things I want to express, right, they are so cumbersome that to shrink them into few words feels like a challenge. And I make it like a fun challenge to see how much I can express. Because for me, everything I do is passionate. I'm passionate about every single thing I do. It doesn't make sense not to be passionate. If I'm going to do it, why not do it happy? That's just the meaning of passionate. Like you love what you're doing. So if I'm not going to love what I'm doing, why indulge? Thank you, Infinite Intelligence, for the synchronicity. 1 minute. Sorry. That is deep. So yes, every understanding of love, right, is as a result of God itself. It's not something I went to the mountain to fast and pray. That's what I mean that I'm not trying to help God do the work of God. In the sense that what is mine to do, right, is just to feel good. and express my authentic rawness of what flows through me. Because for me, I am excited to unfold this God within me at all cost. It's my excitement, it's my thrill. It feels so good to flow God. And someone can tell me God miss me, and I'll be like, yes, God is missing me. It doesn't make sense because I don't see God as something distance away from me. There's no this separation. Can you see the way my finger is parted? That separation, this space of separation does not exist between me and God. It cannot be possible because I exist within God. I cannot exist without God. That's why I exist within God. It is not possible that my existence is something I can create. So there is no God missing me in my understanding because it is like saying God is missing itself, or God is unaware of what it created, or God isn't within me. It doesn't even make sense because the God within me has always been alive and conscious of the God I exist within. I don't know how to express it the way I see it, but I'm just having goosebumps. Like, that's how it feels like. I always have goosebumps speaking spirit, right? And it's not like I'm cold, literally, because I'm even sweating. But the God within me is the God I exist within. There is no demarcation, there is no separation. It is like looking at the back of my hand or looking at my body and thinking that there is a place where oxygen is not touching. Is it possible? Or there is a place where the atmosphere is excluded from my being. Because love is all there is. Love is why you and I can breathe. Breathe. Breathing is spirit, and love is spirit. So people that look for God are not aware that it's not a technical mathematics. I see a lot of people technically speaking of spirit, and I'm not trying to force them to speak spirit because every perception has its unique part to bring out the beauty of love in its own uniqueness. Because infinity does not waste its time to repeat. If your fingerprint has never been repeated, no matter how much you have come back reincarnated, how much more do you think infinity wants to experience the same thing? It has no value in eating the same food every day. Every expression of infinity is uniquely infinite, has no duplicate. So if someone understands spirit from a scientific perceived way, it is not wrong because they still exist within this thing. And for them to speak at all, it is that which brings out oneness that would indicate love. Because everything speaks, but there is always love that chooses to grow, and love that could care less. Doesn't mean that one is more valuable than the other, because all are equally important in the story of love. That is why darkness will bring out the beauty of light. If you on a light bulb in broad daylight, nobody sees the glowing of that light because everywhere is bright. But when it is dark, you will appreciate that light bulb much more than when everywhere is bright. That is how I have grown in understanding things that are spirits, that I do not judge or try to change to my own perception. Because for a picture to say 1,000 words, it's because every perception sees it in their own unique part. That is what brings about the beauty of the picture, because we can all see something unique in it from different perceptions. So I love paintings, I love art, I love love, I love expression of love. An expression of love is what people call the calling of God to me. It's as simple as that. It doesn't mean any other thing to me than expressing love, expression of love, the calling of God. So, how people perceive it, right, is totally a unique way of seeing love from a different angle. How I see the world is not something I created, and how they see the world is not something they created. It is always from a level of vibration. That is why I became permanently positive, because I am only interested in experiencing love from itself, and it excites me to grow in oneness with love. I'm just starting to grow in love. To be frank and sincere, I am at my baby steps. It feels like all my life I just started growing, and I can't explain it more than this. Thank you, Infinite Intelligent. I don't want this video to be longer than this. And if I didn't cover this topic well, I would do my best to encapsulate it in a different topic. Because to me, I don't think it's fair to keep someone seated for so long, because I use myself to experience watching a live, and I can't stay that long even if I fast forward it. So I know that if you fast forward at least this length, it should not be so much of a length to listen to, because I almost listen to almost everything fast forwarded. I don't know why. It sounds normal to me these days than not. So thank you very much.